So today we want to look at cybersecurity analysis. Cybersecurity is of two aspects: defensive cybersecurity and offensive cybersecurity. And cybersecurity analysis fall into the defensive part of cybersecurity. And for us to understand defensive part of cybersecurity analysis, defensive part of cybersecurity, we must understand different aspects of analysis. And so what is cybersecurity analysis? Cybersecurity analysis is the process of identifying, assessing, and mitigating potential and actual threat to an organizational digital asset, system, network, and data. What does it mean? So the process, the step-by-step way that we follow in order to identify vulnerabilities or to identify threats to an organization, and the way we assess it, and the process also we follow to mitigate or to contain it, is actually what we refer to as cybersecurity analysis. So it involves evaluating security measures. That is what you should do, detecting vulnerabilities. Also have to do with developing strategies that you can use in order to combat a particular threat. Is it either a foreseen threat or an incident response? So why is cybersecurity analysis is important? Cybersecurity analysis is important to prevent data breaches, minimize losses, or even protect reputations and ensure compliances. So it is very important so that we'll be able to minimize the risk that will follow, or to be able to mitigate the challenges of cyber attack, challenges of malware intrusions, and other kind of cyber attack that will fall into. So let's look at the key component of cyber analysis. So one is threat identifications. One of the key components of cybersecurity analysis is threat identification, recognizing potential source of attacks such as malware, phishing, insider threat, advanced threat persistence, or different type of malware. So you analyze the source. Where is this thing actually coming from, or what process does it follow? So you must first of all is identifications of what? A threat. The second thing is risk assessment. We evaluate the likelihood and the impact of such attack or such threat to the organizations, to the devices, to the network, to the infrastructures. So we identify the risk, the likelihood of this, then we can prioritize our response. We can actually prioritize what we respond to first, depending on whether the risk is low, medium, or critical. So that is what risk assessment is all about. Help us to determine which one should we start first. Assuming we have two incidents, which one should we start tackling first? Which one should we start responding to first? So that is one of the components of cybersecurity analysis. The second one is vulnerability analysis. After advanced, you can now check the vulnerability analysis, check for the weaknesses in the system, applications, network that attacker might exploit. We check for the indications of compromise on the system to see what the attacker might have compromised, or where there are weaknesses within the system that attacker can make use of in order to compromise our network, infrastructure, devices, organizational, digital asset, or anything that the attackers or the malicious intruders actually has intention to do. So the next thing we look at is monitoring and detentions. Having to understand all this, we also detect using tools like intrusion detection system or security information and event management system to track unusual activity or potential breaches in real time within the network, within the infrastructure, within a devices, and so on and so on. So we have to do with what? Monitorings and detections. So that is how we go about. Another component of cybersecurity analysis is monitoring and detections. So we also have incident response. Incident response has to do with creating and implementing plan to quickly detect, respond to, or recover from cybersecurity incidents. So ways we detect an incident, the ways we respond to it, and also to recover from security incident is what we refer to as what? Incident response planning. So we plan it ahead of time. Supposing a particular incident occurs, supposing our network is affected by malware, what should we do? Supposing we have been attacked by unauthorized access or ransomware or spyware, what should we actually do? That is how to do with incident response planning. So the next thing is compliances and regulation adherences. We must make sure that we put rules, policies that can help us to be able to mitigate, to be able to safeguard or preserve ourselves, organizations, and even our infrastructure, either on-premises infrastructure or cloud-based infrastructure or even hybrid infrastructure. We must put compliances, regulations, rules that can actually guide everyone within the organization, guide everyone within a particular place to adhere to the security policies of the organizations. Another one is reporting and documentations. Reporting and documentation is important so that for future reference or for to help to clarify what we are doing or what we have done, and also for proper accountability and transparencies. So that's why reporting and documentations is important for recording findings, preparing security reports, and recommending actionable improvement that we can carry out. So then we also look at threats, trends, and matrix. We look at the security matrix and trend. What kind of trend? We look at the past, looking at the present, then we can be able to predict the future. Oh, these organizations, this in the last years, in 2 years time, in 2 years back, in 4 years back, the organization encountered so type of attack. Recently, the organization also attacked this type of. So there's the possibility that this organization will have this attack as a result of this and that. So that is why we also study the global cyber threat to see which emerging cyber threat is actually invoked. Example like AI, artificial intelligence threat, or even what I refer to as a malicious way of using artificial intelligence. So these are different threats that is coming, or that is, so it helps also. Cybersecurity analysis also helps that we monitor, we study history, we study the past, observe the present, and predict the future. So there are some tools and techniques that we use in analysis, though it is not limited to this, but there are some basic tools that we use. One is the vulnerability assessment tools. We need some vulnerability assessment tools like Nexus, OpenVAS, the QuadGuard, and Nmap, and so on and so forth. So all the vulnerability assessment, when we get to vulnerability analysis, we will look more on the vulnerability assessment tools. But also we need vulnerability assessment tools to carry out a comprehensive cyber analysis on cyber security. Another one is penetration testing tools. We need some tools to be able to penetrate through the system to be assured. Yeah, it will not be a fully penetration testing, but they can also do like DNS analysis or even social engineering analysis. So also look at intrusion detection and prevention system, the IDS and the IPS tools like Snort, Suricata, Wireshark, and different type of intrusion detection and prevention system. We also look at information security information and event management tools like Splunk, ESStar, IBM Quadra, and every other security information tools that we also need. So we also have incident response tools. We have different incident response tools. As I told you, that we also need incident response to planning, and in the planning we also have some tools that we can use, though it's not limited to this. Each of these will treat it individually: incident response, vulnerability analysis, threat intelligence. We'll also look at it, but these are the tools, that different tools. We need incident response tools and vulnerability analysis and so on. So also need threat intelligence platform like Record Future, Alien Open Threat Exchange, malware information sharing platform like malware bazaars, and different platforms that we can look at when we get to malware analysis. So we also need endpoint security tools like the Carbon Black, the CrowdStrike, Falcon, the Semantic endpoint protections, and different endpoint protection we'll be looking at when we go to each and every one of it. So we can also use forensic tools like autopsy, NCASE, FTK, volatilities, and so on to carry out our analysis, especially when it is regarding forensic investigations or forensic analysis. Cryptographies and encryption tools is another tool that we need to carry out our analysis effectively. Also, we need networking tools, network monitoring tools to carry out our analysis effectively, especially when we talk about networking or about network related devices. So we also look at malware analysis tools. We have different malware analysis tools, and when we go into malware analysis, you see different aspects of malware analysis like the static analysis and also the endpoint analysis. So we have phishing stimulation analysis, especially when it comes to social engineering, to determine how attackers will actually work, and also to help us to understand how a particular attacks work. So we have firewalls and traffic filtering tools. These are hardeners that help us to filter our network, to filter what comes in and go out, what comes in, especially in domain or in public network, or whether we are in private network. So we also advanced threat penetration tools like the FireEye, the Palo Alto network or Cisco Talos, and also security awareness training is also part of the analysis that we carry out in cyber security. So there are some techniques that we use in cyber security analysis as someone who is interested in cyber security analysis. One of it is called log analysis. We review systems and network log for suspicious activities. We also carry out traffic analysis, behavioral analysis, especially when it comes to malware analysis. We also talk about threat monitoring and also data encryptions and even zero trust architecture. Implementing never trust, always verify security model to be sure that we not fall victims of the plans of threat actors. So these are some of the things we look at in cyber security analysis, and this is just an overview of what cyber security analysis is all about. In our hands-on practical, we'll be looking at different aspects of cyber security analysis. We could be looking to like malware analysis, vulnerability analysis, threat intelligence analysis, endpoint analysis, digital forensic analysis, and so on and so forth. So stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platform. And for as many who want a physical training is also available. You can reach out to us and we'll actually get you all the information that you need. Thank you, and see you next time.